What's up, Rockstars? How's it going? Today is a very cool day for an update because we have a ton to go over. We have brand new games. We got $1 million plus campaigns. We got several that are about to reach that point. We have Backerkit's first big board game campaign to go over. There is a ton of updates. There's another company asking for money, $650,000 to get your game. We'll be talking about that and so much more in this video. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible. If you appreciate the videos I make every single week for you guys, and you can give even $1 a month, there is a link down in the description below. Thank you so much. And before we start, a quick shout out to some people who have recently upped their pledge or joined the community here. Nathan Hildebrandt, again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, welcome aboard. Brian Del'Amelio. We got Christopher Showen, we got Andrew Both, who increased his pledge, and of course our very own Sexy Gandalf. How could we live without you in our community? You make us all smile. So thank you everybody for joining, and again there is a link down below if you wish to contribute as well. Again, thank you so much. And obviously, representing the shirts, we're going to play a little video where you get to see me model, which is very odd, but you know, whatever. This ships super quick, by the way, so I got this within just a few days of ordering it. So there is time to get this before Gen Con. If you want to wear one of these to Gen Con, feel free to do it. And definitely, if you do, say hi. And of course, it's all premium stuff. It feels great. It fits nice. The print is very good on it. It's nice and crisp so that you guys get a quality product out of the whole deal. And with that out of the way, we're actually going to start with two retail options I wanted to show you guys just because they're fun, one's fun, one's actually interesting. So here is Funko's new Goofy Movie game. Yeah, loved Goofy Movie when it came out. That used to be my jam. I thought it was so cool. And it's got 6 totally awesome, they say figures, I think they mean miniatures, 6 of them, and this game's only freaking $24. So 6 minis for $24, that's better than a Kickstarter deal already. They are single pose, but you know what, they're actually, like, the quality of them doesn't look too bad. Like, it's hard to see with the light colors on a lot of those, but you can see like the gray one there and the purple one here, like, they look actually pretty good. The game itself, I have no idea about, to be honest. It looks pretty minimal. Looks very retail, but it's Goofy Movie, and it's like $24. I mean, that's a white elephant gift, if nothing else. Then we also do have Spectre, the board game. This is one I've been tracking, this James Bond 007 thing from Modiphius. It's now at Target for $60, and you can soon get it in a few other places as well, I believe. I'll be grabbing a copy of this over at Gen Con from Modiphius so I can take a look at it myself. It is a area control worker placement game with like some semi-co-op stuff and negotiation stuff like that, because essentially you're all bad guys and you're trying to be the number one in the Spectre group, but then you also are like trying to like deal with James Bond, who shows up and messes you up every now and then, and you have a shared mission you're still trying to do as well. So you're trying to balance all of that together. Sounds kind of interesting, actually. So yeah, definitely gonna be taking a look at that. And I grew up watching every single James Bond movie. Like my parents were big fans, so I saw those movies growing up countless times. And yeah, definitely I think interested in this one for sure. Now, we need to start with the most important one of this whole update. And that is Dodos riding dinos. Because, I mean, of course. It's got minis of Dodos riding dragons. I mean, there's not dragons, dinos. There's nothing else you could possibly want. It looks silly. It looks funny. It's only $89 for the original game and the expansion, so it's cheap. It's something you can just play, it looks like, for fun, which is really its kind of goal. You'll see here, like in this GIF, right, where you're like trying to like fling them. It's silly. It's silly. Yeah, that's what I play games for, is to have fun, to enjoy myself. I like to gamify, and I like to play a tight mechanical game as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, anything that has a whole bunch of really cool moments, I'm all about. And it's cheap. So that's pretty cool too, and successfully funded and continuing to go. So yeah, and I'll link down to all of these below, of course, as well. Moonrakers Titan, almost $1.5 million. My goodness. Whew, that is a lot of money. And on top of that, if you look at like the pledge prices here, $35 for one of the expansions, $65 for the Platinum Edition Moonrakers. Anytime you get Platinum Edition and $65, it blows me away. $100, $114 for the Titan box. Well, you'll notice here, $179 for the Titan box plus base game. So this is like the big pajama jam. I'm saying that wrong. $179 is like the max pledge you do here, and that's darn impressive to then get 1.5 million. A lot of times they get that number by making this humongous game that's like massively expensive, and it costs hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and so it looks like an impressive number, but that's not profit, right? That's revenue. And so to get 1.5 million from 9,000 backers from a pretty lean game, if you look at it there, impressive. So mad props to them. They're definitely doing something right if people are this excited about it and having this much fun with it. I think that's great. Super, super duper cool. And again, they have foil cards. I love foil cards. The art style is kind of not the best for foil, in my opinion, but I mean, it sounds like fun too. It's a deck builder. I mean, there's nothing really wrong about that. I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely a cool thing to check out. We also have Return to Dark Tower, second printing, plus the new Covenant expansion, $754,000. This is the dark mode. I have it on dark mode so you guys can see it better, especially with the titles, because YouTube always puts the titles on white. They don't change the contrast on that, so you guys can see a little bit better. But it's normally stark freaking white, and that's really unfortunate. I think Backerkit looks hideous. It just looks plain, it looks soulless. So I mean, it's got the Gamefound thing where it's a big long scroll with anchor tags. So you got the anchor tags here at least, but you know, it is what it is. That being said, Return to Dark Tower, $756,000 raised from 7,000 backers, was 21 days left. They are doing well. So they got of course, the gorgeous gifts going on here. So that's looking great, and that's awesome to see. You know, overall, people are just really enjoying this from what I can tell. I still hear people mention it. Still hear people wanting even the old version of it. And so adding more, I think, is just obviously doing well. So that's really cool to see. I'm really happy to see the success of that and people getting what they want and enjoying it. And it looks like this is going to be quality and people are going to love it. And that neoprene mat, by the way, I saw a patron post a picture of that. Looks good. Looks good. So yeah, there's that available as well. Again, on Backerkit, link down below. You know, these games, quick aside, by the way, when it comes to like Gamefound or Backerkit, I still feel like people are directed there, but they don't go there to browse, right? It's kind of like Amazon. You go to Amazon to find something, but you can be directed to another site. And so that Amazon is still the big, you know, the big option, right? Kickstarter, I think, is still that. Even with Gamefound, even with Backerkit, and I hope they continue to grow and be competitive with one another for sure. But I think at that point, you're going to Backerkit because I directed you to Backerkit, not because you go there every day to check what cool board games are available, if that makes sense. Next up, we have Euthia Resurrected 777. I thought that was cool. In fact, it's almost, they ruined it. It almost was 777666, which would have been really weird. I wouldn't know even how to feel about that. 3,000 backers, so a lot less backers, but still almost 1 million. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to like seeing the revenue is not profit per se. That being said, I think they did build in some healthy profit here. This is SFG's kind of retake on Euthia. They bought the license to it to be able to bring this available. And one of the big things they did was up the price, essentially, to make it more sound of an offering. And they also reduced the amount of like little bits you could have. They combined two campaigns or two expansions into one, stuff like that. But essentially you can get the core box for $180, and you can get the expansion, which has way less in it, for $170. So it's like really expensive. Me personally, I can't buy an expansion for $10 less than the core game, and I can't spend $170 on an expansion. I scoffed at the $180 for Descent for the core game. So like, it's a big game, mind. Like that core box is huge. That being said, it's actually not any bigger than a 2 big box expansion that you get from like Monolith does that a lot. Mythic Games does it. Really, a lot of the games that are just core game plus like KSEs, right? The Kickstarter exclusive box makes the second box. It's not actually that much more. I mean, it's a lot of content and it's rated very well. I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I'm just saying it's freaking expensive. So you could spend like $400+ on this just getting everything. So that's an expensive all-in day one, I feel. And so, take that as you will, I suppose. But either way, people are super excited about it, and I think that's super cool, and it's great to see people just super happy about it. All right, next up we have the Ancestors Nkosi. I think they just want me to mispronounce these. They hate me. That's what it is. The Fallen Sage. This is by Blacklist Games. They make fantastic 3D printed miniatures that you can either buy printed for you or the STLs to print yourselves. And if you love miniatures, if you are a painter, pay attention. These guys do some fantastic texture work, some very interesting and unique minis. The interesting part about this is the power stance that he has, because he's very much just standing there. But then you have this guy here who's like super dynamic, and his cape's flowing and stuff like that. So it's cool to see the difference between the two. But I mean, you can see the texture. It's just, it's wild is what it is. They're not even exaggerating. This is the texture you get. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful experience to print and paint, and I highly encourage anybody that's interested to take a look into this. I mean, it's good. It's really good. And again, you can get it even printed for you. It just makes a good statue, if nothing else. All right, next up we have Draconis Invasion Collector's Edition, Wrath and Glory. A patron of mine pinged me on this because he knows I'm a sucker for pretty art. That's what it is. It's a card game that has, again, some very, very pretty art. I don't know too much about it, so I'm not going to pretend to know more. I just know that, in my opinion, this is like Awaken Realms level art. Like, I really do enjoy the art here. And I've been covering a lot of card games I felt that have had some hit or miss art when it comes to the art style. So it's really nice to see this quality of art, in my opinion. I really like it. I dig it. Some of it looks a little digital, a little maybe too much. So it's not like perfect across the board for me, but I am digging what I'm seeing here. So it definitely looks good. And look, there's a mini. See, it's applicable, guys. There's a mini for the card game. All right, next up we have Dead Man's Chess. This is one I showed a while back, and this one's interesting. So it has not funded yet, and honestly I don't think it will, for a variety of reasons. One, I think, is they're not showing the miniatures very well. Again, I've commented on this before on how you can open up Illustrator and make that miniature render actually look better with more contrast, more detail, within just seconds. It's not very much. It would take you less than an hour to edit every image you have of these miniatures and make them look better, make them pop, make them look attractive, how they should, in my opinion, instead of this like washed out, contrastless, just nasty gray wash that they have. So it's unfortunate because I'm sure they spent money on these sculpts, and then to display them not so good is unfortunate. This is kind of interesting though. It's essentially chess, but it's like, I think they're leaning on the chess higher than they need to be, because it has like powers and dice combat, and you're moving multiple guys all at once and stuff like that as they're seeing you draw a card and do that. And so it is very much chess with a twist, but
if you like chess, you probably won't like this. And if you don't like chess, then you very well might like this. So it's kind of weird marketing in my opinion. So it just like the Euthia thing, right? The Euthia now has surpassed what Dia Games needed to survive, and they canceled and pretty much closed shop. So all that really just tells me, in my opinion, is that it doesn't necessarily matter what you have on offer. I mean, it does. But how you offer it, the presentation, and who is offering it does matter. So take that as you will going forward. Okay, so we're going to be talking about another company, Blacklist Games, asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars and the wackiness around that. Before I get into that, though, I do want to share a post. This is by Fred Henry. He is the owner of Monolith. The person from, I don't know who, so I've read this twice from people who I believe, but I wasn't pointed to it and I haven't been able to find it. But I'm sure it's happened. But the person from Le Boîte de Joie or de Joux also kind of piped in and said, yeah, pretty much same with us. So there's a few developers now talking about this. And it's funny. It's like these French companies are like arguing with each other right now. It's kind of weird, but not really arguing with each other. It's odd. Anyway, this is him talking about essentially Monolith pledgers can be rest assured, and this is specifically directed to, by the way, the people who are backing his games, right? He talks about this, how they've been flooded with personal messages and stuff like that. So don't take this as like a slight against any other company. This is just him saying, here's my stuff. These are to my backers. Rest assured, we will not ask for any extra money and we will just take it off of our margin. He's talking about how he's paying $12,000 in June, and then so right here it says here $12,000 and then another $1,900 to get it from there to the hub. So I don't know how many fees he's including in that. There's a lot of fees for moving it across the ocean and the docking fees and stuff like that. But either way, it's not like that much more. He's obviously not paying premium, I would say, freight. You can pay premium freight to essentially expedite it and just make it go faster and ship within a certain amount of time. Helps with logistics, especially if you need the help there. But you don't have to use that. And so I'm sure he's using a more economical version of it. So some premium freight, which, I mean, again, I think we all appreciate a more economical shipping at this point. So anyway, that's his quote, is about $13,900 to get it to the hub. Is kind of what he's saying here. So that's their prices, and obviously that's more than what they used to pay, but it's nothing too bad. He said claustrophobia boxes, he can fit about 3,100 of those on there. So an extra $2.90 or 2.9 euros per box is kind of what he's saying there. So he's not too concerned about that. So if you're back in Monolith, at least you don't gotta worry about it. They seem fine. They've figured it out apparently on how to ship it to us. So with that in mind, FYI, Grimlord Games, so that's just a disclaimer for all this, has apparently started deleting Facebook posts about asking for clarification on this. This was mentioned a little bit before as well about comments being removed or no longer being there. If you're wondering what the issue is they're going to be asking for money here next, is my assumption. I'm going to start pre-filming these videos. I swear to God. I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to pre-film my Grimlord games. We're like, hey, they're asking for more money. And I can just upload it when they do it. It'll be great. I'll get way ahead. I could take a whole week off and just film those apparently. So more shipping progress. April 2019. So since April, they have not made a comment, not a peep. And of course it was, hey, the ships are coming in, ETA 5.6, 5.6, 5.12. Where's the update? What's going on? Makes you wonder why they haven't updated, huh? It should be there. I'm assuming it's coming, except there's no word. It's almost like exactly what I'm about to talk about with Blacklist Games. In other words, getting it there doesn't release it to backers. You still gotta pay the hub. So let's talk about that. Let's move on to that. That's a preview for a future news video where I cover them asking for more money. Let's talk about Blacklist Games and specifically Fantasy Series 1. Now, the reason it's specifically that is because no word on that on their new one. So they're asking for money, but you won't find that here. Instead, there's no updates since May. right? Now, my understanding is on this. So the brothers left. So really, it's just this one guy, Alex, that has had a lot of other issues when it comes to unfulfilled games. So this is pretty much everybody's abandoned ship, and this guy is asking for money. There's no even clear, like they say we a lot and Blacklist Games and all that kind of stuff, but it almost seems like it's a royal we at this point. I'm not sure who's left. But it's a skeleton crew, if anything. So it's kind of hard to see what's going on there. So the July update, they go through things and they're explaining the reality here. So for instance, and I said this, by the way, you can go look at my old videos. I cover this game, and I say even at the time that it's a crazy good deal. They're offering a ton of minis. I said the minis are very lackluster in my opinion. They're definitely a lower quality. It's very much a quantity over quality, but that still bit them in the butt because they weren't charging a whole lot at all. But it's interesting because you can see the unit prices here, right? So the unit prices, that's how much is to manufacture. So $13.50, right? This stretch goals was $25.55, which, by the way, these are actually a little high from what I can tell based off even their quantity. If you're a developer and this passes the sniff test for the types of miniatures that they're printing, feel free to let me know. But considering I assume most of them are pretty much straight PVC, a lot of them are single sculpt, this seems kind of high, especially again at the quantity. I feel like they're paying a little too much for that plastic to inject, in my opinion. But either way, $2.15 for the door pack is how much it costs them to make. $2.15. Keep that in mind when you buy your next door pack, by the way, guys. Or, hey, you want your scenery pack? That's a whole $3.25. It's always great to see this kind of stuff, to see their manufacturing costs. Like I said, to make a big miniature board game box right now with the inflated prices of like paper materials especially, it costs about $50 for the whole shebang, right? So keep that in mind when you're looking at Euthia and stuff like that. The profit margins are typically 30% or higher on these things. Keep that in mind. Okay, so molding cost, right, actually developing it, that's this one big old lump sum there that they had. Either way, it was about $915,000. They raised, $1.1 million here before the pledge manager, where obviously it went up from there. So, yeah, that's pretty tight, right? Obviously, they didn't price this very well, but they knew that going in. This reminds me of Shadowborn Games, right? People in the comments have talked about how they went on record saying they didn't expect to make money on this one. They expected this to be a loss, but they wanted to establish themselves in the miniature space, making miniatures, because typically that actually has a very high profit margin. So they wanted kind of a big bang and then make the more money later down the line. So that was the whole business plan, was that they did not expect to make money. Don't necessarily feel bad that they didn't make money. That was on purpose. Okay, so I'm just saying, like, when it comes to like business plans, you can think long term and short term. So if you have the funds, you can take a hit to introduce into something, right? I mean, if you think about it, all board games are an upfront cost to then make money and selling through, right? That's the whole point. If you can reprint these, guess what? Reprints are like printing money. The profit margin goes way up on a reprint because this huge, $117,000 goes away. You don't have to have the molding cost anymore. You got your molds. They're good for typically 10,000 units. You only did, or even higher. So, yeah, it's way cheaper. You don't have to do the art. You don't have to do the sculptors. Nonetheless, just the molding. It's just way cheaper. There's no really ifs, ands, or buts about it. So it's once you've established that, it's typically very, very good. So you can think long term as well. But we're gonna shut that part of our brains off and just say, hey, yeah, they weren't gonna be making a profit on this for sure. And again, their decision, not yours. Theirs. They chose that. They did, not you. You just bought the product that was on sale. Okay, so what happened? Well, it gets kind of interesting, right? So it says here, in January, February this year, we paid off the remaining of what we owed QML and freight, container fees, global warehousing storage fees up to that point. And because they've had this product since like November, they've had them all. They actually started getting them in, I think, August of last year. And then through September, more came in October and November. And so they were saying back then in November, hey, we're going to pay them off. It'll be great. Except obviously that never happened, right? So then in January, February this year, they were going to do that, and shipping to the already fulfilled regions. As you can see, the zeroed out areas were paid. So these are the non-US locations that got their game already, right? They paid that off. This is the US stuff. You can see a $345,000 fee there and a little bit more there. Now, these invoices don't have subjects. We don't know what they're very trimmed. And this is a prevailing problem, by the way, is companies want to share information to appear transparent. And that's a commendable goal, but you end up just making a lot more questions unless you go all the way. In other words, either share it or don't. Either keep it super high level, but if you're going to start sharing line items, you need to actually show the line items, not cut off line items, right? Not just these equal each other because you haven't paid them. Like, okay, that's great, whatever. But I mean, this could be your free lunches for all I know. I know it's not. I'm just saying, like, we don't know what this 4,000 goes to. We don't know what this 4,000 goes to, or this 5,000, or even the 345,000 goes to. Unfortunately, that leaves us where we are now. For the same budget above, you can see for the US, Canada, and rest of the world, they owe $360,000 that they don't have to pay for it. Meanwhile, what are they doing to fix it? They tried a whole host of things. They tried consulting. I don't know what you consult on when you're already in the hole. But they tried that. They tried selling IP. They tried doing a few other things. They're not taking any money from the other campaigns. So they're saying, at least not yet. And so they're offering a contribution. We'll talk about the contribution in a little bit. I want to actually go to their, as you can see in the comments here, Alex Lim is who that person is. That's pretty much the person that's left. So yeah, it's bad. And they're talking about, people are kind of covering everything about what's been happening. Here's a breakdown of it, by the way, of like when things have been. So since August 19th of 2021 is when the containers were on the sea. And then by September, the first 2 came. And then you can see that in November, they're saying that all 10 containers are there and all they have to do is pay them. Okay, that's exciting. But then, of course, it never happened. But you can even go to their last month's update. This was June's update, where they knew since well before that they didn't have, again, since January, February, they paid off the rest, but they knew they didn't have the money to pay the US shipping. So here it is. QMO uses the data. So this is like a timeline of what's going on to create a new pre-shipping invoice with the current shipping fulfillment labor prices. Now, again, they've already paid off. They said in January. Now they said they paid off the rest of the world. So this is, or the stuff that hasn't been delivered yet, or that has been delivered yet. So this is just for the new stuff. They're saying, hey, we still haven't paid for months, right, since January. So they're going to give us a new update, but they're not labeling it like that, right? Because nobody knows that they haven't paid for it yet, right? So nobody knows the issue. So again, this was just last month. This is what they were saying. Pre-shipping invoice with the current shipping fulfillment labor prices, not the old pricing just received. We pay the invoice and make this new project official with QML this month. With what money? Now you're saying you have none. This was last month. This is a lie. This is plate spinning. I talked to you guys about this. This is them buying time, talking about this, and they'll talk about this. I mean, you saw the list here, right? I mean, it's for months. For months, they've been spinning this plate of delivery, not telling you, hey, we just don't have the money. Even the month before, hey, yeah, we're going to pay him this month. But they have no money to pay him with. So it's all BS, which is kind of the whole point. They've been BSing for a long time, and now they need $360,000. Now, let's talk about this a little bit, and then we'll see what rewards are offering, stuff like that. It's too little too late. If they way back when they knew they didn't have enough to pay their bill, if they had just said that back then, maybe this would have worked. But when you BS somebody for over a year with just lies, like apparent lies, where you were just lying to them last month, kidding them, joking them around, not appreciating the fact that you took people's money for years to feed your kids, to pay your mortgage, to live your life. And now you know you don't have enough money to give them their product, and you're not even going to mention it. You're just going to BS them. And now you're asking for money. It's a little late for that. Okay, these companies that are waiting until the last minute to mention this are making a mistake. The best day to tell somebody bad news is yesterday, right? You need to tell them the moment it happens, because if you think it's going to go away or whatever, the risk you have is that it doesn't go away, and then you've screwed any chance you have. It's just how that works. So I do not expect them to be able to do this. Now, why is it on Gamefound? People are asking that. Or why is it on GoFundMe? It's on GoFundMe because, as they say, you can see the total amount raised. It's public information, right? It's not their own website where they could change things up, I guess. It's on the pledge manager where it'd be hidden and nobody knows how much is there. Though most pledge managers say how many people have backed something. So if you made a thing there, they could do basic math to kind of tell, but whatever. Anyway, so that's their claim on why they did this. One of the issues there is that, they need more than 360,000 then, because I've done a GoFundMe and it's like, it's a healthy percentage because they take a cut out of it and then they charge you for every single fee, and they don't have great fees. I actually had better fee rates on my own website doing my own donation for last year's donation, which, by the way, everything boxed. I'm going to be shipping it out this week. So, yeah, finally done. Thank God. My goodness. I'm sorry that took so long. Anyway, GoFundMe takes out a higher percentage for their fees, which again, I now that I see that with the fees I got for the credit card processing fees and stuff like that, right? Those are still a real thing no matter what. But yeah, GoFundMe's was pretty high, and then they took a big chunk out of that as well. So it needs to actually be higher than that because they're not getting that whole 360. But then on top of that, they are offering rewards, and GoFundMe typically is a little sketch around that. So let's talk about the rewards. So first of all, seeing this is completely optional. However, you don't get your game if this doesn't go, if this isn't paid. So, who knows what the heck's there. Hey guys, final editing KOA here. So I've changed clothes. It's now the next day. I'm about to actually upload this and finalize everything, but just giving it a once over. And lo and behold, updates. Okay, so the GoFundMe has been canceled. It's been taken down by GoFundMe for violating their terms of service because they were offering rewards for certain pledge tiers to be able to they're essentially kind of using it kind of like a store, which is against GoFundMe. It needs to be an actual pure donation without getting anything in return. So I'm not going to go over those options. They didn't matter anyway. It was like credit for future campaigns that you probably don't want to back anyway. So it's not like a big deal either way. We don't know where this goes from here. Again, Quartermaster Logistics is run by Cool Stuff Inc., so they will be updating a post on their Twitter. I will let you guys know when that happens, and we'll hear their side of the story and what's going on there as well. But it does not look good. This has been after years of lies and just misdirection, and it's just unfortunate that they tried one last hurrah to get money, and even then they did it wrong. Even then they messed up. If you want to read a much better update, read a much better way of doing things, I'm not going to officially show this yet, just because I want to actually direct people to the call to action, because I'll be participating in that as well. But the people at Forest Aragast did another update that was kind of interesting when it came to shipping and shipping prices. I highly encourage you to go ahead and check that out. It'll be linked down below. Let's get back to the end of this video though. And then final thoughts. They do say sorry. They say sorry here and they say sorry up here. Just as an FYI, their first thing is like, we are sorry. Again, I don't know who the we is anymore on this. It's not really like signed personally or anything like that. So anyway, yeah, it's messy, guys, and this is just going to continue. You know what's interesting, and I commented about this too, right? How many companies are one failure away? Myth and Goal failed, and guess what? Everything that wasn't delivered crumbled. And Steer didn't sell as much as they needed to, and then everything Mythic Games needs to deliver is now in question, right? That's how this is working, guys. Euthia, right? The next one didn't work, and guess what? Now they're struggling as a company. How many companies are like that? Just one goof up, one mess up away from completely failing. Something to keep in mind as you throw those millions over at all these companies. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying I won't. But do keep it in mind. Be safe with your money if you can. And make as good a judgment call as you can, considering the fact that half of them are lying to us, apparently. So, not to end it on a negative note, remember, you can get a Goofy Movie board game for $24. So, there's that. Guys, again, these shirts, link down below, Patreon link down below. If nothing else, a like helps a lot, or even a comment saying that you appreciated me staying up way past my bedtime so I could dig into this issue further and share it with you so we could talk about it and talk about being safe with our money. If you appreciate that kind of focus from this channel, then let me know. I do appreciate it. As always, have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Bye, guys.